Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Scorpio Illumination Tarot reading for the month of July 2023. So, welcome. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for soul illumination. For anyone who is new, welcome. My name is Lauren. Otherwise, hello to everyone who is returning. Thank you so much for your continued support. So today we are going to be looking at the energy for the month ahead, Scorpio. We're first going to pull some cards to take a look at what you're bringing to the month. Then we're going to look at what's going on around you and what Spirit would like you to embrace as you move towards the end of the month to allow you to bring in some element of abundance that wants to come in for you. We will also be taking a look at a challenge or a block and advice from Spirit as to how to overcome that. All right, so we have, I love it. Okay. So you are coming in with the Nine of Pentacles, which is a beautiful energy. It's one of independence. It's being very I would say comfortable in the physical, meaning you're in a place where you can really stop and smell the roses and really take stock of all that you have, which is absolutely wonderful. Now, in your external environment, what Spirit is really asking you to, what's highlighted this month for you, Scorpio, what Spirit's asking you to really embrace and move into by the end of the month is connection, but connections that are wealth. Let me put it this way. The Four of Swords and the Two of Cups. The Four of Swords is a card that really speaks to, it can be reflection. It can be taking the time to rest and really take that deep dive into your own, I would say, thoughts, subconscious, but really look at kind of releasing some of those heavier negative thought patterning or patterns and really being able to find the clarity and the truth. So this could be a month where you're really looking at your intimate connections. You're seeing how maybe perhaps some of them were based around maybe those kind of trauma bonds where you were acting out of an element of fear or an element of self-protection, and maybe you weren't opening yourself up vulnerably, but there's something here around really coming to that beautiful place of reflection, of reviewing all of those intimate connections. And I think the reason why is because your main underlying energy here is the Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles is someone who is very slowly and methodically working towards a goal. The Knight of Pentacles, he looks forward to the future and he plans those steps and he starts to make movement towards that goal. But again, methodically, one step at a time. Now, underneath the Knight of Pentacles, we have the Knight of Cups and we have the Queen of Cups. Beautiful energy. The Queen of Cups is someone who's really sitting with her emotions. She's honoring her own needs. This can be someone who's really focused on their own self-care. And with the Knight of Cups, there's a feeling here of kind of coming out of a place where maybe you were a little bit more, like if you can even see how these two cards are placed. One looks like they're sitting and kind of looking at their cup. The other one is turning their back and kind of going out with that cup into their greater world. So there's a sense of having maybe come out of a time of deep reflection or a time where you were kind of really focusing on meeting your own needs or the needs of others, because the Queen of Cups can also be seen as kind of that maternal energy of someone who is unconditionally loving and caring for others, especially in the home and family. But now it seems like up until this point, you've kind of gone out. You've maybe gone out of the house and shared your love with others. You might have met new friend groups. You might have maybe gone out in search of a significant partner, something along those lines. And now there seems to be that you have connected with others in your experience, with the Two of Cups coming in out here. But now it's saying that this is a time now to even go a little further, that now it's time to kind of put down roots and get a plan in place, especially with considering you guys are sitting kind of flush with the Nine of Pentacles. There's a sense here of maybe having somewhat of a level of maybe financial security, or you have a good home in place, or you have enough, because Pentacles can refer to even time. You have enough time in your schedule to be able to really, enjoy what you would like to enjoy. But now I get the feeling of kind of like a growth phase for you, Scorpio. You've gone out, you've done the self-work. You went out with kind of this optimistic, romantic sensibility of like, I'm going to go see who I can connect with out there. And it obviously brought in something very abundant for you. Be this a new friend group, be this a significant life partner, something along those lines. And now you get the chance to really, I think, reflect and review on how you connect with others on that intimate, kind of vulnerable level, but also where perhaps there may be some relationships that either need to be, the dynamic needs to change a little, or where maybe there's even some relationships that might need to be cut out completely. And we're going to dive a little bit more into what this is speaking to by pulling some more cards here. So let's see what else. Especially when you think about, planning. That usually when we're planning for something, that is going to involve other people. And so this is maybe a review as to how you connect with other people in general. You may be realizing that maybe some of your intimate connections, again, were based, maybe the way that you interacted was maybe holding back a little bit because of some aspect of self-worth, or again, that kind of trauma bond. And I'm not going to go all in because I got hurt in the past, that kind of experience. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see what Scorpio needs to know. Okay, so we have the Wheel of Fortune. Ooh. Okay, so the Nine of Pentacles again. So you have Nine of Pentacles, which is interesting because the Nine of Pentacles is your main challenge card here, with the Wheel of Fortune coming in right behind that. So there is a feeling here. Ooh, and the King of Pentacles at the heart of your reading. Okay. There's a feeling here of maybe having entered a comfort zone level where the Nine of Pentacles can be a great place to be. It can be job well done. It can be, wow, you have a lot. Again, this is where you can sit there and say, I have enough time to do the things I want. I am comfortable in my home life. I do have enough in the bank right now. But there's something about this. Oh, interesting. So we have the King of Wands and Queen of Wands. Now, in your weekly spread that I did for this last week, for the last week of June, you had the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands come up prominently there as well. So some of you may be dealing with a divine union or partnership, which is really beautiful because you have, two people who are equally matched here, but one who really focuses on the masculine, one who focuses on the feminine. Now, your secondary underlying energy is the Hierophant. So some of you could actually be looking to commit to a relationship if this is something where you have discovered that partner. Because the Hierophant can speak to institutions that we choose to follow and adhere to, and marriage is one of those. The Hierophant also speaks to our belief system and also what we choose to follow and how we choose to follow, rules, regulations, societal norms, things of that nature. It's also getting into the kind of higher masculine spiritual side to our experience as well. So I'll dive a little deeper into that. But first, let's go back to the Nine of Pentacles. Now, the Nine of Pentacles can become the gilded cage, meaning that at one point, maybe this is what we were focusing on. And we were saying, great, when I get that home and I get that job that gives me enough money and time to do what I want, when I make that much money in the bank, then I'll be happy. then everything will come to be. But there's something here around, but then we hit a plateau. We always have to be growing. We always have to be looking at how we are changing in our experience. And we can't just stop and stay at a homeostasis level, because that's often when then something kind of comes in out of left field and shakes up our life experience. So the more that we kind of continue to look at our experience almost as an exercise regime, so to speak, where we're like, okay, well, we've now built up a little tolerance to this. Let's up the ante a little bit. Let's push ourselves in a new direction. Let's stretch our wings over here and see if we can maybe we can do 100 squats now, but maybe we need to get on a different machine or take a new class and see what we can do with our core now instead of just looking at our legs. It's kind of like that. Because there's something here with the Wheel of Fortune coming in that says there is maybe a potential change in direction. or it's saying that the time is now to really step up into a elevated version of yourself, because the King of Wands is what Spirit is asking you to embrace and to embody to help you kind of get out of this comfort zone. It's also saying, job well done. Look at how far you've come, or look at what you have right now and give yourself a pat on the back. Whether that's a chunk of money in the bank, whether that's you've created a safe, secure home life for your family, whether that's you've changed up your work routine so now you have time to follow your passions and hobbies. But whatever that is, job well done. You've taken care of your needs and you've really focused on that. But there's something now that's really asking you to step up into this energy, which is the masculine energy. When you think about, we have the masculine and we have the feminine here. Now the masculine, sorry guys, I need to take a drink of water there. So the masculine energy with the King of Wands is all about initiation. It's about leading from what you're passionate about. It is someone who can sometimes become almost unapologetic in going towards what they want. But it is someone who is the initiator, someone who takes the lead in what they do. So there's a feeling here a little bit of maybe you've been kind of sitting internally. I mean, it does show with the two knights that there was this there is movement. You have made movement. You were not just kind of sitting there, let's say. But there has been movement. But there's something now with the Four of Wands and the King of Wands that it's time to initiate something, because the Four of Wands coming in can also speak to marriage. These two cards, the Hierophant and marriage, speak to a foundation, and can often speak to a foundation that is what we would consider marriage, something that you work towards through a sense of passion, and you get a chance to then stop at the Four of Wands and celebrate that. Look how far you've come. Look at what you can build on now for the future. And with the Queen of Wands coming in on the other side of this is kind of your final point of challenge, but this is also the blessing. The Four of Wands wants to come in for you. It is a new foundation. It is a foundation, again, that can be celebrated, whether this is the foundation of what you've already built and now you're ready to, what I would say with the King and the Queen, if this is not another individual in your life, meaning you are not dealing with a potential romantic partner and the possibility for committing to either marriage or moving in together or something along those lines, this can be kind of like what was coming up in your weekly reading. This can be the balancing of the feminine and the masculine within yourself and creating a new foundation out of that. But first you have to really get to that place of kind of and I hope you guys don't take offense, but it's like putting on your big boy pants and getting out there and saying, okay, it's time for me to, what am I passionate about? What do I really want to make happen in my life? What do I want to everyday experience in a sense of passion? And how can I start to go out there? Because the wheel is turning. There's something now that's asking me to leave a comfort zone. And in order for you to do that, it's time to get into that place of power. And I am getting a little bit of that energy of the Phoenix rising. The Phoenix is actually one of your signs, Scorpio. So there's a sense of it's time to come out as not only the new version of yourself, possibly the one who was burned up in the fire. Now you are arising as the Phoenix element. But there's a sense here of coming out and just taking charge. Now, the Queen of Wands is a similar energy, but she's the feminine energy of that. So she is more receptive. She holds space for what she wants to create. She is one of those, I like to say, bloom where you're planted. She just radiates fire. She radiates her passion. She is someone who can just enter a room and everybody, their heads turn to look at her. Now, she's not sitting there like the king and going up on stage and saying, let's all make a decision to do what I want to do. She instead just does what she wants to do. If she wants to wake up and she wants to wear a fancy dress and do her hair up all pretty and then go to the grocery store like that, she's going to do it. If she wants to, build if she wants to build a beautiful garden in her backyard, well, she's not going to sit there and, look outside of herself for that. She's going to get to work and get her hands dirty and start to build that, what am I trying to say? Garden in the backyard. She's someone who really is focused on where she is and how she presents herself, and she draws people to her because of that. The king is someone who goes out, and he's the one who's going to say, you know what? I would like to see more of this type of community organization in my where I live. I'm going to go out there and initiate that. I'm going to make that happen. I'm going to start to take the steps to see how that's going to be. Or if this is in a relationship and these are two individuals, this would be where you're being asked whether you're the male or the female or however you choose to identify. But this is saying it's time for you, Scorpio, to step up into the initiator within the relationship, no matter how the dynamic is. And it's time to say, let's get the ball rolling here. I'm going to propose to you, or let's move into the new house and I'm going to start to take the steps to make that happen. Or how can we, if we want to move into, getting out of our comfort zone, maybe I'm the one that needs to look for the new job that pays more so that we can build this foundation better and stronger. And then the individual here is literally the partnership that you're looking at. And maybe for some of you, you're reviewing the changing dynamic within the partnership, that maybe you had always taken maybe more of the passive role in the past, and now you're being asked to take more of the initiator role. I'm not going to say the aggressive role, it's more of the initiator role. And that may be that maybe you would always come from more of the passive side because of, again, maybe some wounding in the past. And it kind of left you, hesitant to take charge. So this is really kind of a lesson of learning to balance the masculine and the feminine. But I think more than anything, learning how to embrace the masculine energy, but in a healthy way. And you do have support around you, be this potentially someone in your workplace or someone romantically, or just friendship around you who is going to complement this this masculine energy. They're going to complement it with their feminine energy, which is beautiful. Okay. So let's see. This can even be for some of you who are dealing with maybe a Cancer in your life, or again, a mother. This could be where maybe you were, kind of helping protect that energy as well. And you maybe almost had to leave that individual behind as you went out into finding a way to do something. It's kind of a strange message that's coming through in that way. I do get the feeling more, though, that this was a time of self-care for you. And then you were able to kind of say, okay, I'm ready to go out there and greet life more optimistically. I'm going to go out and see what else is out there. All right, so we're going to pull some clarifiers now, Scorpio, to see what else wants to come up for you. What does Scorpio need to know about the Nine of Pentacles, since that's coming up so prominently? Queen of Cups and Ten of Cups. Love that. So Queen of Cups, yeah, again, this is that. For some of you, the Ten of Cups is the true happy family card. This can actually represent the marriage, as you can see represented here in the picture with the wedding cake and the two individuals on top. So there's something here maybe around the Nine of Pentacles coming in with the Queen of Cups again and the Ten of Cups, that there's something here on maybe a comfort zone that you had achieved with an individual that represents this Queen of Cups in your life, a maternal energy, an unconditional energy. And it's time now to kind of kick it up a notch to the Ten of Cups. So for some of you, getting out of the comfort zone is, yes, entering into a relationship, committing to the full happy family, where it is the home, the home in the right place with the right people, and you have so much in abundance in the emotional plane that you have enough to share with others. Now, this also could be for some of you where there is, if this was you, the Queen of Cups, where you were kind of nurturing yourself, nurturing maybe those closest to you, it's saying, okay, you've done well. You have enough in the physical to really support that. But there's something here where I think many of you are reviewing what that 10 of Cups is too, that there's something more. Because I don't see the 10 of Pentacles here, which is kind of like getting to that place of legacy, what you want to leave. It can be an element of inheritance. Instead, this is very emotional. It's like you're coming from the physical, but getting into the emotional plane and realizing there's something more that I want. There's something more that I want around either becoming a mother, and that could be something for you guys as well, or just a focus on the emotional side to your experience, and that is kind of what's leading you now forward is the idea or the feeling of the happy family. I mean, there could be mothers in your life that are playing a prominent role as well. If you have anybody who's like unconditionally loving towards their family, there could be something here around that too. But let's see. So we have Justice for the Wheel. Yeah, there's a sense here of commitment and the making and breaking of contracts. So for some of you, there really is something that said that if this is towards moving towards a truly kind of happy family thing, there is a review going on of a contract in your life. This could be the making or the breaking of a contract, and that could hang in the balance here. This could say, I am going to initiate the marriage. I am going to initiate signing the mortgage on a home, because that is part of my feeling of what I ultimately want to experience in the physical. That meets my needs, which is the Queen of Cups. So keep that in mind too. If you've been really focusing on meeting your own needs and diving more into your dreams and things like that, what you want to experience, that can be this right here. It's the realization that what's in your cup is calling for something else in your experience to really feel that connection. And there is a contract possibly that you're looking at right now. So we have the Fountain and the Eight of Wands. Beautiful. The Fountain card is unique to this deck. I love that when this card comes out, because it speaks to getting to that place of kind of divine creation, of just, it's like having the wormhole, and that coming up directly with the Eight of Wands. It's almost like you have this opportunity to kind of shoot yourself through the creative heart of the universe forward by committing to something, by looking at the contracts in your life and saying, what missing piece is here for the 10 of Cups that I know by looking at my cup, I need to move towards. And this can initiate, the Wheel of Fortune is already kind of a spinning wheel, a spinning vortex, showing the energy is moving, the time is kind of now. And with the Fountain and the Eight of Wands, this is fast forward movement. And so it could also be fast communication. There may be that communication of, yes, I want to sign that contract. Yes, I want to do this. Could even be the breaking of a contract. But with the Four of Wands here, I get for many of you, it is the creation of that firm foundation. And again, if this is not romantic, this could be work as well. So building a new business, leveling up in your career path, even walking away from a job, because maybe there's a feeling here of, my current career path is not part of my 10 of Cups. It does not meet my needs, and I need to get into my creative zone and break this contract with where I work. Okay, so let's see. Yeah. With the King of Wands, we have the Two of Wands. Yes, the King of Wands. The Two of Wands says it's time to make a decision. Where do you go from here? There's possibly a new direction, a change in course. But the King of Wands is the individual who would be able to make that decision. He's the one who initiates that change in direction. Let's see what else is coming in here for Scorpio. Okay, so we have the Nine of Pentacles again. So it officially has come out 3 times. So that is definitely coming in strongly. So we have the Nine of Coins, Nine of Pentacles, and the Nine of Wands. That speaks to, it's been a long road to get here. The Nine of Wands can be a card of burnout. It can be a card of, I just can't, I can't go that one more step. But I love the picture here where it shows the individual is almost to the top. He just has to keep going. So there's a feeling here of, okay, you're at the Nine of Pentacles. There's this element of, okay, I've got this far, but now do I have to turn and leave it all behind? And it's not always the case where we have to say, okay, we're going to turn our back on all that we've worked towards, especially if you're burned out, especially if you're exhausted. This is saying perhaps that it's time to initiate something new that is going to build on what you have already. So when we think of, the Fountain and the Eight of Wands coming in here, this can be like a wormhole. I always think of the Eight of Wands in this deck as like the train coming in. It looks kind of like a train track, right? And somebody moving quickly towards the horizon. And it's almost like for some of you, it's time to get on that train and go. But that may be scary, right? Because you don't know where that train is going to be taking you. You're like, but if I get on that train now, I leave behind my house. I leave behind all the stuff I just, built for myself. And this is saying you don't know where you might get to the horizon here and find something that's going to actually take you right back to what you have now. Or this would be like realizing, you know what, maybe we don't sell our house, but we rent it and we use that money to leverage to buy a larger house someplace else instead of clinging to a home we're outgrowing, something along those lines. But there's definitely, with the King of Wands and the Two of Wands, it's time to choose the new direction. It's time to commit to that new direction. And I think you've come a long distance. And with the Nine of Wands, it says you've come that far. You've gone through all of those points of difficulty. Now it's time to make that final decision to kind of close out this cycle. What are you going to do with this Nine of Pentacles? How are you going to turn it into the Ten of Pentacles? But it's coming from the place of the heart. Now for the Four of Wands, we have the Queen of Wands again and the Hierophant. Yes. Okay. So for some of you, this is looking at a commitment with the Queen of Wands, with the Hierophant coming in again. This is really getting to that place of saying, okay, I'm going to commit. Let's sign the marriage document. Let's make this happen. Or the Hierophant can also be seen as seeing a new way forward, as you can kind of see in this depiction. He has the ability to, he can be seen as a spiritual leader, and he can have that vision for the future, and he can see how there can be new systems set in place. And there may be something around that here for some of you as well, that there may be this kind of challenging of a belief system, a challenging of a pattern, a challenging again of how maybe you've related to other people in the past or intimate connections. And there's a chance now where perhaps you can actually kind of break those boundaries. You can set up new systems and new pathways to create a foundation that's maybe more authentic to you. But it definitely involves this Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands is someone in your experience who, again, kind of is helping bloom where you're planted. This can also be someone who is just highly magnetic, highly attractive to other individuals. Or this could be a part of yourself again. So if this is someone in your experience where you're being asked to initiate, but at the same time you're being asked to also kind of live your passion, I always say performatively. That's kind of the feeling of the Queen of Wands. She's someone who is very performative. You're not going to meet her and not know what she's passionate about, or you're not going to meet her and wonder at, I wonder what she likes to do, or I wonder, what she likes to, how she likes to decorate, or what kind of food she likes, because she's going to be constantly, when you're in her presence, she's going to be sharing that with you. She's going to be acting from that place. Now, it could also be just committing to that for yourself. It could be committing to the realization and the belief, and looking, when we look at this depiction of the Hierophant, it's almost like he's looking within his own spirit. The spirit is his box, and he's realizing the magic within. And there could also be a belief in yourself, a belief in being able to be seen as this more powerful kind of magnetic version of yourself, but that at the same time you're also kind of behind the scenes initiating. And that might seem like a lot of responsibility placed on your shoulders, Scorpio, but I think you're in a place to, especially with the Nine of Pentacles coming up 3 different times, you're in a place to be able to do that. So 4 of Cups. Yeah, the 4 of Cups indicates with the Queen of Wands that there's a level of dissatisfaction, possibly even boredom in their experience. And this can be where we get to that point where we're looking at everything outside of ourselves and going, I'm not emotionally connected to that. That's not really doing it for me. And yet we're forgetting our cup, the cup that's right here, the cup that we bring to every situation. Instead of looking at situations and people to bring us a sense of emotional fulfillment, we have to realize what's in our cup. And this other individual in your life may be someone who's kind of looking at life that way, kind of like, This could also be someone who has left behind a support group. The 3 of Cups here can indicate that there is a support system, a kind of a friendship circle, a soul tribe, a work environment that person might be leaving behind. And they're kind of sitting in that place of, just, I wouldn't say discontent, but it could just be in that place of, I'm separate. My cup is separate from a community that I used to be connected to. And I think that could also be heightening how you maybe interact with this individual now, because they are maybe removing themselves or have been removed from a situation where there's a lack of support, and now you might have to be that support system. Ooh, look at this. We have 8 of Swords, 7 of Swords, Ace of Swords coming in. That is quite the story here. So you're coming in with water and fire, and you're ending with clarity of the mind. 8 of Swords, 7 of Swords. I think for many of you, there has been a sense of being trapped, can't see a way forward. 7 of Swords, this could be a little bit of, I don't want to really deal with it right now. I don't want to see that. Is it worth it for me to really take a risk? It can be where you just don't really want to go to that place and see how maybe your own mental programming has prevented you from connecting authentically with others, possibly with the 4 of Swords coming up. Or just where you've kind of let your own fire burn out a little bit. And with Ace of Swords, this is clarity in all of that. This is clarity as to, where you've had a little bit of self-sabotage in the mental plane of allowing your fire to go out, possibly even where you've allowed yourself to stop connecting with certain people if this is you and not another individual in your life. It could also be where you're seeing another individual through this lens of maybe where they were trapped for some time and just didn't really want to face something, and now they've made a decision and there's clarity for them, but it's still, again, a hard point for them to have to deal with, where they were in a place. 8 of Swords and 7 of Swords, that can be a really tricky mental place to be, where you're just kind of, you feel stuck, but you don't want to deal with it. And with the Ace of Swords, it's like, aha, I finally see it, finally see the way forward. I finally see how either I've been preventing myself from really leaning into a friend group, which could be that as well, that I've been kind of leaving my cup out of it, and now it's time for me to commit to showing up fully. Or you're realizing this about somebody else in their life, that they were stuck for a long time, and now finally they're getting clarity, but unfortunately the clarity has come through a change in their experience of where now they've had to leave some type of support group. And now you get to kind of be there for them, and you get to start to initiate a new path forward for both of you. Very interesting here, Scorpio. This is, usually your readings have been very clear for me. I feel like this is a very nuanced reading for you guys. So we have the 5 of Swords at the bottom of the deck, your third underlying energy. Now, the 5 of Swords can be a combative energy or a defensive energy. It's one where we're sitting there saying, I don't want to listen to your opinion. I don't want to see another person's perspective. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, keep going the way that I'm going. And I think for many of you, there's this month is really highlighting where you've hit that plateau, you've hit the comfort zone, you're being asked to grow, and you're being asked to initiate. And the Five of Swords may come off of the Four of Swords, where you're really realizing some truth about how you connect to others and maybe how you haven't been connecting authentically, or there's a change in your realization of, again, how you've been presenting yourself, maybe where you weren't allowing yourself to be fully seen in relationships or in your current relationship. And there's a sense now of Spirit really asking you to embrace the truth and the clarity as to where you've not wanted to see something around intimate connections, around showing yourself fully, possibly also around, if this is speaking to a partnership in your life, really embracing the other individual in your life and connecting fully without kind of the pain of the past, and opening yourself up to discussion. Because the Two of Cups is where two people come together and they openly discuss a plan for the new. They might not see exactly eye to eye, but they come together both with the same emotional connection. So they might have the same emotional connection to the Ten of Cups, but they might have a slightly different plan in place. And there's something here around not wanting to push the other individual. It's opening yourself up, getting past the defensive element and opening yourself up to what that plan might look like and how you can connect authentically with another individual in your life or with other individuals in your life. You know, we are all at different phases and where we are. So, I mean, this could be where you don't have a significant other, but this is all pertaining to really wanting to grow in your work environment or in your career path. And it's time now to make a change there. And it's going to involve you initiating, but it's also going to involve you perhaps showing up differently in your next place of work and connecting differently there. Okay. It's also challenging your beliefs. The Hierophant can also be a card where we are being our belief systems of what we believe we're capable of, what we've been told we need to believe. That can also be where it changes. Okay, so interesting. So for the energy for the month ahead, we have envy and we have deceit. Envy is the number 20, breaking down to the number 2, which kind of brings in, again, the Two of Cups energy, working with others, harmony, and the number 25 for deceit, which breaks down to the number 7. And the number 7 is the number of spirit. It's the number of also confidence in the self, and we understand our singular kind of co-creative path with spirit. But I get the feeling for some of you, there's a feeling of one of two things, because both of these cards show an individual who's holding money, holding coin in their hands. In envy here, it shows an individual who looks like she's a queen in a castle holding a cup of coins, and yet she's looking out into the world beyond. That's all in color, and you know, it's almost like she's looking at everything else outside of where she is as beautiful, as rich, as having it all kind of thing, and yet she has a lot, obviously, right here. I mean, she's looking out of her own castle window holding a cup of gold coins, which many people would sit there and say, wow, that's amazing. So I think a lot of you might be deceiving yourself as to the actual true wealth and worth of your own life experience of the night, because the Nine of Pentacles coming up now 3 times in your experience says you have a lot to be grateful for. You have a lot to stop and enjoy. And maybe you've been a little focused on trying to maybe live up to other people's expectations. You've been focused on maybe, even if it's not monetary wise, it might be looking at everybody else's life outside of yours as more rich or full. And yet this shows here that there's a lot to be grateful for. But I think maybe for some of you, it's more about just showing up and connecting. I'm going to pull a couple clarifiers here to get a little deeper into this message. I think the self-deceit is real, or the deceit is really speaking to self-deceit, that you're not allowing yourself to see the beauty of what you have now. And then also really kind of being able to tell yourself, no matter how you compare yourself to others. What is the belief of what you have and how you view it? So let's see about envy. What do we need to know about envy? Okay, so we have the Ace of Swords. So here's the Ace of Swords right here. So maybe that's the realization, with envy, that there's a clarity now around seeing how maybe you've wanted to live up to other people's expectations, and that was what was kind of holding you back. And now there can be this realization of, wait a second, I don't have to be envious of others because I'm living my own path. I can make my own decisions. I can choose where I want to go from here. I'm independent. I don't need to be reliant on others now, or have to be reliant on other people's dreams or beliefs. And I have the ability to go out there and, this would be like the queen suddenly realizing, wait a second, I just need to turn around and flip the light switch and it'll be beautiful and bright in here as well. And you know what? I can repaint the walls, and I'm going to go out there and actually give an invite to the people outside and say, come on in. I'm going to use my cup of coins and I'm going to redecorate a little bit. I'm going to hire a party planner and I'm going to invite the town in to enjoy my space. And yeah, here's the sun. Illumination. It is like someone has turned on the lights to make you realize I don't have to be envious of others because of how much I have right here. And that's what's going to help you really embrace also this kind of blooming energy of realizing I've got a good foundation where I am, but now I'm being asked to continue that, to grow it, and to connect it in a different way with others from this point forward. To connect it from where you have a full cup versus comparing yourself. And that might have been maybe not allowing you to show up authentically or confidently in relationships or partnerships. Okay, let's see. For deceit, we have the Seven of Cups. Yeah, there's a little bit here of maybe getting lost in the illusion that Seven of Cups and the Four of Wands. Yeah. And we have the Three of Swords again. So the Three of Swords, the underlying energy here really reflects what you're leaving behind here. The heartache, the wounds in the past. Now with the Seven of Cups and the Four of Wands, this can speak to a little bit of maybe thinking that there's something else better out there for you. So let's say you're in a relationship and you're like hesitant to be the one to make the decision to commit and propose and say, let's get married. This could be like, well, there might be someone else better out there. So and there's an element of self-deceit there. This can also be around maybe building that firm foundation in a business or in a home environment where you're constantly looking and going, well, let's not buy just yet because something better could be out there. Something, what if I choose wrong? So I'm not going to commit. I'm not going to build the foundation. I'm not going to actually put the money down on the house. I'm just going to keep renting and keep putting my toe in and one toe out. And I'm not going to actually initiate the change that needs to happen. Same thing, this could be in a work environment where you're like, oh, I could, finally commit. When you think about the Justice card coming up here, I can finally commit to that manager position that they've been bugging me to take and just level up in my life, commit to that career path. And yet, I don't know, maybe there's another job that's better for me, or do I really want to take this because there could be something down the line and it's like, there's an element of deceit that I think you're realizing it's time to commit. There's also time to see kind of where the illusion is, that there are things that are going to fulfill you out there. This is like getting to that place of the fear of making the wrong choice, because you might miss out on emotional fulfillment. And it's like, no, the realization is that it's your cup. It's not about which cup you choose. It's where you choose to bring your cup, and then how you choose to engage with your experience from that place. So there's a little bit of that kind of reversal of looking for something to bring you fulfillment versus I'm going to bring myself and therein be fulfilled in every interaction and in every place I choose to be. And that then kind of leads to the Queen of Wands energy, which is I'm going to now show that on a physical level. Okay. Okay, Scorpio, now let's go ahead and see. I just get the feeling, I'm just hearing in my head, there might be something better out there. Yeah, there could be. But in reality, if there's something great right in front of you, it might be time to commit. So it says, surrender unhealthy relationships. Let go of relationships that don't serve you, including unavailable or toxic people. You deserve to be treasured by others and to be surrounded by positive people. I love this. This is really speaking to the Three of Swords here. Whatever was not supportive of you, whoever was not supportive of you, it's time to kind of dig that out of yourself and look to surround yourself, build foundations from a place of personal empowerment, of what you're passionate about, of what you want. What's your 10 of Cups? What do you want to experience ultimately on a level of emotional fulfillment in your life? And this can even be starting unhealthy attachments even within yourself, an unhealthy attachment to, again, feeling like you're never going to be good enough or you're never going to have enough as other people, constantly comparing yourself. That can be an unhealthy relationship to release as well. Okay. So let's go ahead here. We're going to pull a final card for you, Scorpio. And I'll read the little excerpt that comes in the book to just get a final message for the month of July. What does Scorpio need to know? Okay, so you have two. You have initiation by water. Number 23, breaking down to the number 5, which is all about change. And then we have alchemical mutation, number 31, breaking down to the number 4, and there's that number of foundations. Okay, so let's see number 23. It says initiation by water. It says your spiritual path this lifetime involves you becoming a clear channel for spirit. You are meant to communicate with higher guidance from the loving spiritual worlds. Your initiation by water will further open your receiving channels, dislodge lower vibrational material, and sensitize you to the subtle realms of light. You are being opened to a world of which you may only have dreamed, such is its beauty, grace, and love. It says situations have been arising in your world that evoke emotional reactions and challenge your opinions and beliefs. That can be the 5 of Swords and the Hierophant. Your opinions, 5 of Swords, and your beliefs, the Hierophant, challenging you there. It says you may not feel in control. You may feel like your world, your own emotions have become like a stormy sea in which you are tossed about, and you are doing your best not to drown in the chaos. Yet you are not to fear it. It is stirring that which has been held within so it can be released. The storm will pass, and the waters of your emotions shall become more serene. You could compare the process to a glass of water with muddy sediment at the bottom. The water appears clear as the mud is left to lie, yet once that water gets stirred up, the mud rises. Then it can be filtered out, and the water will be clearer than ever before. The turbulence was a step that led to greater clarity. I love that. So it really shows that, I think for many of you, the emotional kind of mix-up here, and there could be triggers again around envy or around, that element of self-deceit. They're stirring up your emotional self, that vision for the 10 of Cups, to get you to start moving again, to get you to start to get into the initiator cycle of making the decision. Where do I go from here? But with a newfound sense of getting with the 4 of Swords here, getting out all that emotional gunk, all the emotional sediment that is tied to negative things that's been kind of just sitting heavy within you, so that you can have this clarity of self, clarity of connecting, I would say, with almost like a clear conscience with others. You're not bringing in all this heavy sediment from this emotional sediment from probably what started when you were much younger. And it's a beautiful chance now to really move forward with kind of a fresh set of a clarity of self, but a clarity on the emotional plane as well. So with alchemical mutation, let's dive into that one. So it says, Your spiritual growth is changing your mind, body, and soul. It is very real. It is helping you fulfill all aspects of your divine destiny. It is awakening spiritual talents and attracting in new energies. This process will bring tremendous joy and satisfaction. It says the body changes as light enters. Alchemy is catalyzed and transformation happens. Sometimes the appearance of the body changes. There will be change in how the body feels, responds, acts, and creates. Radiance increases. Lightness of being increases. If you have clairvoyant vision, you will see the increase in light, as though the person is actually lit up from within, because they are. Spiritual abilities become grounded in the body, and the person can channel healing energy just as naturally as they would set the dinner table. The spirit becomes a living reality in the body, and the material world is experienced as an extension of that divine light. It says the alchemy is an empowering gift of love. Symptoms of this process can at times be challenging. They may include headaches and other aches and pains, flu-like symptoms, and inexplicable and nearly overwhelming fatigue that lasts for days and then suddenly vanishes along with a new surge of energy. We may also experience pinging in the ears, increased sensitivity to light or sound, hormonal imbalance and hot flushes, excessive sexual energy, mental obsessions or mood swings, aggression, and unintentionally harsh reaction to people. But this is just saying that that's all for your change here, that so many of you, I think, are going through this incredible change, but it's from the inside out, that there's an emotional catalyst that's coming in here, and you are literally, it's transforming you. You are becoming, here's the phoenix rising, and maybe you're not being burned by your passions, you're instead being almost drowned by your emotions and rising up out of the water, kind of as you see in the initiation here, instead of going through the fire. And it's very interesting because I feel like you're just now getting into your passion and into a sense of a healthy sense of taking action. But the realm of your own emotional, of how you connect to your emotions, is changing, which is interesting for you, Scorpio, because you're actually a fixed water sign. So sometimes you can literally get fixed and almost drown yourself, in a place of drowning in your emotions, because you've gone so deep. It's almost like you don't know which way is up and which way is down. You know, when you think of divers who get confused in that way. And then you may get just stuck in, well, I'm just going to stay here then because I don't know which way is up and which way is down. And this is saying there's now that beacon, there's something pushing you, and the guiding light now is that dream in your heart, is the 10 of Cups, and you're finally able to see it, and you're rising like the phoenix out of the sediment, out of that kind of harsh place of, you know, not being able to see maybe how to use your passion and how to get into a place of healthy masculine energy of making the decisions and initiating change in your life. This can be a really catalytic month for you. And if those of you who are in a relationship, if you're looking to commit, well, congratulations. And I wish you all the best. It looks like it's going to be a very wonderful partnership, especially with both of you really harnessing the same energy here. So there's a divinity to this partnership. But for those of you who are not, this is just really catalyzing within yourself your ability to initiate and attract and take action from what you're passionate about, and really be able to, I think, see your whole experience in a new light from a place of gratitude, and how far you've come, and what you're ready to commit to building for yourself, and what your beliefs are now around what you're capable of, and then how can you communicate that and connect that with others as you get rid of unhealthy relationships, either unhealthy relationships to people, unhealthy relationships to work environments, unhealthy relationships to just your own self-worth. And you get to, again, be this kind of clear channel, this clear version of yourself ready to go out and as a bright, shiny new individual. All right, I'll leave it there, Scorpio. I hope you all have a wonderful month ahead. If you'd like to book a personal reading, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I will see you all in next month's Illumination reading. And I, again, wish you a wonderful July, Scorpio. Bye.